Welcome back to Hollywood on the Green. This week, we go behind the scenes for Alexander Payne's latest film, The Holdovers, another likely candidate for Oscar nominations in 2024. The Holdovers follows a curmudgeonly instructor, Paul Giamatti, at a New England prep school who is forced to remain on campus during Christmas break to babysit the handful of students with nowhere to go. Eventually, he forms an unlikely bond with one of them, a damaged, brainy troublemaker, a newcomer, Dominic Sessa, and with the school's head cook, who has just lost a son in Vietnam.
Mr. Hunnam.
Hello, Mary.
I heard you got stuck with babysitting duty this year. How'd you manage that?
You know, he used to be a student, right? Yeah, that's why he knows how to inflict maximum pain on us.
I thought all the Nazis were hiding in Argentina.
Stifle it, Tully. You just earned yourself a detention, sir.
Being here with you is already one big detention.
Son of a bitch, that's another detention.
Do you think I want to be babysitting you? No, I was praying your mother would pick up the phone or your father would arrive in a helicopter or a flying saucer.
My father's
to take you
dead.
You don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas that nobody wants him? What's wrong with you?
There's nobody here, okay? You stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
Let me sleep in the
Now, most of the kids dislike you, pretty much hate you. Teachers, too. You know that, right? I find the world a bitter and complicated place, and it seems to feel the same way about me. I think you and I have this in common.
I don't think I've ever had a real family Christmas like this before. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
History is not simply the study of the past, it is an explanation
Of the present. See, when you say it that way and throw in some pornography, it's a lot easier to understand.
no matter what you are.
I'd like to propose a toast to my two unlikely companions.
Are you trying to lick down my shirt?
No. Yes.
You're gonna get me fired.
This is your Rubicon.
Do not cross.
The Rubicon.
The film opens in theaters October 27th. Let's hear more about the origins of this movie, how it got made, and how an actor with zero on-camera experience landed a career-making role.
Christmas break is upon us, and every year there's a number of boys with nowhere to go. You know, the kids from foreign countries and the ones with divorced parents and stuff like that. And this year there's a boy, he's a junior, and kind of a troublemaker, kind of troubled, damaged and troubled, but a smart kid underneath. And his mother calls him last minute to say she's widowed, has been widowed, she's just remarried, she has just remarried, and they want to use this Christmas vacation as their honeymoon. You understand, don't you, darling? Stanley's been working so hard. The teacher selected this year to stay behind with the boys is a very disliked, curmudgeonly ancient history teacher, Paul Giamatti. Through a kind of deus ex machina script device, all the other boys find somewhere else to go at some point, and it's down to just this teacher, played by Paul Giamatti, and this boy, and the head cook at the school. Also, she's a single mom, and her son attended this very same school on a charity scholarship, but did not have the wherewithal to go to college and has just been killed in Vietnam. So this movie is about the adventures of these three kind of shipwrecked people during a very snowy 2 weeks in Massachusetts in 1970. I've been an admirer of school movies, you know, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner and If and Peter Weir's movie, and I had seen a companion of those films, a somewhat under-known French film by a great director, but from 1935 or 36, called Merluce by Marcel Pagnol. And it had that same basic premise. I saw that 10 or 12 years ago and it never left me. I thought, you know, that's a pretty good premise for a film. But I personally didn't have the wherewithal to, I didn't have the life experience of a private school and so forth. I'm from Omaha. Nor did I have really the discipline to go research it. But a pilot came my way set in a prep school, and it was a very fine pilot. And I called up the writer and said, I thank you for sending me this wonderful script. I don't want to read it. Would you consider taking on an idea of mine? And so it was, David Hemmingson. That's how David Hemmingson, the fine screenwriter, came into my life. So typically I've written my own scripts, and certainly I was involved in rewriting this one and conceiving it. But David Hemmingson really did an outstanding job writing it. That's what attracted me to it. It sounds hyperbolic, and I'm sure it is, but I just think Paul Giamatti is the greatest actor. There's nothing he can't do. From the moment I first met him, when he auditioned for Sideways for me, going on 20 years ago, I thought, this guy can make even bad dialogue work, and he can, no matter what the dialogue. I had him in Omaha for a public interview, and I said, you know, Paul Giamatti, you can really make bad dialogue work. I'll bet you could even read the phone book, like they say, read the phone book and make it compelling. And he laughed, and I leaned over, and I pulled out the Omaha phone book, and I handed it to him. I said, would you please just open up to a page? He started reading it and brought the house down. That's why I like Paul Giamatti. And he's just a lovely guy, brilliant guy, most well-read human I know, and a delight to work with.
I think it was very much a story about family. It's a very clever script. It's deceptive. It's deceptive in that it's about much more than you would think at first. And it's also extremely funny. And for me, as a longtime Alexander Payne fan, I think it is arguably his most emotional movie. So to take what he does and with his characters, sort of the uniqueness of his characters, and to put them in this situation, it was an undeniable script. Dominic Sessa, who plays Angus, this is his first movie. He had been a drama student or been in school, in boys' school, but didn't have an agent, didn't have a manager. We had this wonderful casting director, Susan Shopmaker, who decided to go out and find, a discovery. And one of the smart places she went was to private boys' school's drama department and say, all right, who do you have? Who do you offer up? And that's how Dominic came in. He didn't come in through any orthodox means. It was really from out of nowhere. And I don't know what the number is. She probably saw 600-700 boys for this part. And Dominic, early on, we said, well, wait a minute, this is somebody to pay attention to. And Alexander put him through the paces. He had him sort of try out and test a number of times. And finally, he tested with Paul Giamatti. And I think Alexander, Paul, all the rest of us said, no, this is the guy. I think Dominic's a good choice to play this part because he has no tricks. He's a very honest actor. He's playing it as honestly as he can, and consequently, he's completely believable. I never, in looking at the finished film, and quite frankly, in all the dailies, I don't see any false moments. I don't see him at some point pretending to be something. He always seems to be that.
I went in for my first audition, and it was, I was pretty relaxed because I wasn't expecting much out of it. And they called me back later that day, and I did some more reading, and eventually Alexander came to my school to come meet me and audition with him. And yeah, for the next 2 months, it was a lot of just touch and go, email, Zoom calls and all that stuff. And by the time I had my last audition, I didn't know it was my last audition. I thought it was going to be, do that 2 weeks later for the next one. But we sat there, and it was me, Paul, and Alexander on a Zoom call, and we just read the whole script through. And Paul would read the parts that, in a scene where I was in, but he wasn't in. I would read parts for him in other scenes, and by the end, it was I got the role that day. So yeah, it was really surreal and exciting, and didn't really know what to think or what to expect, but it was nice.
It's great to see Payne and Giamatti back together again. We all remember the magic of Sideways. And that's a wrap for this edition of Hollywood on the Green. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, you take care.